We're back, guys. We're back. And we are back with some very, very clear distinctions. There cannot be any doubts in our mind. Uh, we're at war. We are at war with all those who uh, try to cancel us down cowardly by using a plethora of endless smurf accounts and think that nobody watches that. We're at war against all that. If you got 200,000, 1,500, I don't care your number of viewers or your followers, you're at war with me. And just like any person who is attacked and threatened, I'll respond. So it's a war declaration here on all the little scumbags who come online for the purpose of harassing you, undermining your work, your ethic, your activity, and by throwing you layers of mud one after the other, think that you're going to give down, you're going to give up. I'm not. I know the devs are not doing their work as they should, or in case they do, it's just to ostracize people like me. So further making the problem worse. So what I'm going to do, as the title says, is just watching the circus. And some of you who work based on cliches, because life for them is based on cliches, on hierarchies that are established since birth, not because of any merit or effort. It seems like it was because of their forefathers that they now stand where they are instead of because of what they actually have done. And because they like to cancel others' efforts and think that it makes them smart, I'm standing against that. So we're no longer fighting for a match fixed elo system. Uh, and we also don't need the cooperation of people who continuously refuse to point out the problem, pretending that the match fixing problems of elos is not their problem, or worse, who decide to aggravate it and make it worse. Um, and I'm going to have a very clear approach in what concerns gaming integrity. This means that I will not give my ultimate best because I'm going to enter a match fixed arena situation most of the times, if not every time. And I don't care if I win one or another occasional games. I see how games go. I have been seeing them, I've been playing them, and each time it's always a Smurfageddon after a Smurfageddon. There is no possibility for genuine and honest people who want to try out to play this game in the ranked ladder like me, if they do not come with their little social circles, with their little groups of pals to play on 1v1s in darkness. There is simply no chance. If you don't have your little smurf pals up there reverse boosting your accounts, you will not rise. You are barred from rising. You are um, not just gate capped, but you will continuously be facing the same hurdle of smurfs and obviously going down. And it's kind of a punitive thing. We establish here there is a group of people who like to manipulate uh, what should be the integrity, the gaming system, in a gaming system that upholds integrity. They've match fixed. They've they've taken over the ladder with their multitude of uncontrolled Smurf accounts, and anybody that is not within their social circle of affinities and or that they have no vested interest in seeing rising, they will simply cancel. It's a cancellation wall. And for that, I declare all these little scums, who, especially those who have been kind of sidelining me and, because I feel, the silence is the objective of the silence is to try to quash dissent, to quash the people who expose what's going on, and who actually want a fair and a more fair ladder system that allows a natural progression of players, and not where a group of players or individual players like me are systematically targeted by a group of scum who acts like predators, who take over the entire gaming system and cancel a few good gamers. And that is a problem. So while everybody is going to watch the whole circus everywhere else and pretends I'm not here doing my work and being acknowledgeable and being completely fair and fully upholding integrity, I'm not going to back this down. And don't get me wrong, you might think that I might be queuing, but let me just uh, quickly clarify a few things there. I'm not queuing for the rush of a smurf trying to quash me. I'm not an automat. I'm not a robot. I'm not a robot whose first function is press match, whose second function is wait until getting stomped, and whose third function is being stomped. That is not my function. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to expose all these shitbags and who sides with them. And I think it's just fair for all the people, all the good people who are being just silenced because there's a wall of cowards in this game. There's no defense. You might have your groups of brigadiers, your groups of friends. It doesn't matter. Everybody, everyone should have a fair chance here. And I don't like that in a game your chances are determined based on your existing social average. Sorry, but that's not competence. So I don't care whatever the established rules are. In my stream, in my area, the rules are these. I uphold integrity, and I will not be standing with Smurf supporting. So whoever has alt accounts, there are several reasons to have alt accounts. But if you like to have alt accounts to particularly bash others, to cancel good players from rising, because you like to keep them low so that people don't look at them and those kinds of manipulations, no. And this is the real problem of the game. And right, we all know that this is a situation that many like to rage debate. They create the hell, the hellhole. They create the chaos. They create the injustice, the lack of dignity in the ladder system on purpose to trigger reaction, to trigger either pain or to trigger discontent from the players. They like to prey on people's lack of opportunities, as coward and scum as they are. They even like to make the environment. Uh, they actually sometimes want people to lose. So lose equals sad, sad equals bad, bad equals people not watching. What? Well, for some reason, I continue here. Your need to make equals of stupidity is not stopping me from doing my work. So all these stompers who previously came into my uh, either they sniped me when I was streaming to deliberately watch me in an attempt to teach me a lesson. Quote. When of course they don't teach anything because I don't take those. Or they just come online to prey on players who have much lesser skills than them, using ult accounts two, three, or five times below their main elo. Of course, that is unacceptable. I probably am also going to keep talking about these situations in just chatting, because you're wrong if I keep this as a gate-kept community. I think that a community is only as legitimate as the values it upholds. And if it doesn't uphold integrity, and if it doesn't uphold fairness in games, then the community has no purpose in existing. So these are my individual values, and I will not tolerate any community that does not follow them. I don't care how popular they are, they mean zero. They mean zero. And I don't care about your high school mentality. It ends here. This is a stream where I uphold integrity and competitiveness, but fair competitiveness, not rigged. Because if you uphold competitiveness under rigged competitiveness, you're not a competitive person. I don't play with accounts on darkness that I've decided to play with. I don't just call my friends on Discord and say, "Hey, we're going to queue for a match, right? So queue so I can rise, right?" I don't do that kind of gaming manipulation. And it's not just not reverse boosting accounts. I also am constantly facing a barrage of smurfs that some of you are curiously always protected from. So it raises the issue of complete lack of fairness. And as a gamer or person who upholds integrity, not just in gaming environments, everywhere, that rings to the core. So while you keep watching your streams of the streams of popular streamers, who, by the way, do not refer this problem I'm talking about, please do so. You know, you can just watch Winnie the Pooh. You can keep watching, uh, the TV shows, particularly those for 2-year-old kids, and then pretend that you don't know what's going on. Or option two, you understand the problem and you really acknowledge it, and you say, okay, right, we have an integrity problem in this game, and that is the thousands, the hundreds of thousands of Smurf accounts in the ladder are completely corrupting uh, what should be a fair and functional gaming environment into a complete hellhole. So that is why I'm not going to put my best effort or any single great effort into this game. I will be just doing the very minimal because mediocrity is the rule in this game. We are promoting accounts based on their social relevance by Smurf boosting on one hand, and on the other, we're quashing people we don't want to see rising by forcing them to queue against Smurf accounts after Smurf accounts, with obvious defeats in each time they're forced to queue. So if they play 5 matches, they lose 5 matches. If they play 10, they lose 10 matches. You get the picture here. And it's hollow when they say you have to keep losing matches and then you'll find your real yellow. No, you don't have to lose matches against players who are manipulating the game system with I don't know how many Smurf accounts. You don't have to. Nobody should have to do this. What the heck is that? It's like saying you have to be cheated, you have to accept being cheated, and you have to be silent about being cheated. It's as clown as it is. So, talking about clowning, and that's exactly why we're talking about the circus. What I propose to you, and propose because we are conditioned by this, we are conditioned by this toxic environment where we have to operate. Um, which is not, by the way, the environment that should exist, not at all. What we're going to do is uh, we're going to do a pretend I will play. I'm not going to put any effort. If the guy I'm fighting, most of the time, that's always the case. I will presume it's the case because it has been the case. I don't care if I don't see one or two players who seem accessible, because my streak of history is that every single game or almost every single game is inaccessible. So if one or another appears and it seems accessible, I will treat it as an anomaly. That's it. Because the players who are honest about their elo are the exception. They're not the rule. They are the exception. And as for that, I think the solution, besides removing all Smurf accounts who are obviously disrupting the ladder system, the solution should be you don't put an effort. Because why should I put an effort into a system that values complete mediocrity and shitification, instead of valuing those who are really putting genuine work and hard work, those who are working on their only account or main account? Instead, you're rewarding people who spend 90% of their offline time when they're not streaming using thousands and Smurf accounts to just to troll everybody else who is not their friend or who is not someone who are their vested interest in. This is ridiculous. This is obviously disrupting the gaming environment, and it has been a main cause why a lot of people, unfortunately, have been stopping playing this game. That is the real reason. The fact that not just the matches are unbalanced, that the players who come online, even in the lower or middle ranks, they're always facing these monster Smurf accounts. Some people are shielded from that, curiously, but uh, the majority of solo players, just like me, and of course, many don't even have voice because they don't stream, so it's like they don't exist. Uh, that's exactly what they face. So this stems from my real experience. And I don't care if some people need to invalidate that because I couldn't care less. This was my experience and I know it well. It's more than enough for me. So what we're going to do is we're pretending to play. We're doing normal. We're not going to do maximum effort. And once the game becomes unplayable, we just say, well, played Smurf and leave. And I don't care if we just get to the zero elos. Even if we get a game where suddenly we win on game start because the guy decides to quit, again, it's another sign of the the degeneracy that is proliferating uncontrollably in this game, like metastasical. It's metastatic. So due to all these problems, I'm going to do a very minimal effort. And when you're going to complain that why are not well, you're losing because you're not putting any effort, dude. When were you here when where were you here when I was putting effort? And every time I was giving my best, I was always getting quashed by a scumbag using a Smurf account who was just toying with me the whole time. Of course you were not, or if you were, you were pretending not to see. So because of that, I'm not putting any effort now. So don't come to me with hypocrisy because I have a batch of games behind. I know how it is. And I don't come online to troll on people. I don't come online to make other people miserable. I find it repulsive. I come online to expose this problem, to try to make my work. Well, of course, I would be doing my work. In normal circumstances, I would be playing the game. I would be rising until obviously mid to high elos, mid to high guaranteed. But this cannot happen under a plethora of Smurf accounts who continuously uh, bully everybody else who does not belong to certain circles. And I'm sick of that. I'm sick of those scumbags. I tell you as an individual, I tell you as person that does not tolerate that cheating, the perversity, the disgustingness we have on the gaming scene. And if you cannot speak against that as a streamer, you're also part of the problem. I probably might be the only person in this entire game who has talked about the integrity problem being so prevalent without being a main figure. And I don't talk this for the views. I've been talking about this for a very long time. I talk this in an environment where I probably am a very few people talking about this problem. But I tell you, I am here to make sure we have a good and functional environment. Sure, I'm not going to get any fair game, right? So whatever I say is going to be denied by the very reality of the game. But that's exactly why I tell you. I invite you, you who uphold integrity, as me, to watch this AoE2 circus. Um, I also have, there will be just eventually little exceptions. In the case where I feel I can beat a Smurf, or at least in the cases where I effectively beat a Smurf, and no, I'm not going to give my max because I've already seen how this goes. I'm just playing a little bit and so on. If I see that by some reason a Smurf can be defeated easily, or it can be defeated, then I might even post a video about that. But generally, don't expect me to do that because I'm more in the inclination of out of 20 matches, 20 will be losses, something like that. And I also decided to remove the yellow system here because we can't even know. I'm the only guy being honest here when I say my account. I know that I don't have any more accounts, but whoever I'm fighting on the other side is just a Smurf account, somebody using alt accounts most of the time. You might say, hey, but how can you say that it's not all the time and it's how is most of the time different from all the time? No, don't come to me with that shit because it's all about almost every time. Unless I know a particular streamer who, for example, that would be the best guarantee. I know a person if I know a person that streams and is online, kind of, he just says I'm using only one account and that I don't use anymore, and it's this. And eventually, I find him on the yellow ladder. If he streams, I might kind of take it, assuming he's okay with that. But if I see anybody saying, "No, this is my main account," no, this is just another lie because I know because I'm streaming, I'm just using this account. There's that guarantee. But for other players, I just see a void. It can be a Smurf account of so many players. So that's exactly why I'm not going to put any effort into that. So let's keep watching the circus. Actually, I will do something else. I will even guard this video. I'll put it here. I'll close this. Then I'll restart the stream because I wanted to give you a heads up of what's going wrong. Um, that I'm trying to do a work that is being deliberately cancelled, and I don't buy it. The people who are not getting consequences for that. You just cannot stop the efforts of someone and not suffer any consequences. No, that cannot happen. So precisely for those who want to make sure that the environment, the gaming environment, remains clean and with integrity, where you believe that the need to investigate any potential Smurfs is more important than a so-called this this devil's lawyer word of, oh, it's accusations, unfounded accusations. No, because the presumption here is that most accounts are Smurfs, not the other way around. So when most accounts are Smurf accounts, then it becomes a real, more serious integrity issue. It literally is moral bankruptcy of the game if most of the accounts are Smurf accounts, because then how can players who are not out who are outside those circles like me, it's and I keep myself outside of that. I don't want to have anything to do with those dirty accounts. We cannot even have our space in the game, and obviously we refuse that. I cannot decide the outcomes of the game, but I decide the attitude and how, as as people and functional people in society should act towards this. If it's wrong to manipulate the the ladder system, then you should stand against smurfing. That's it. It's that simple. It's that simple. You don't need to hamster hipster excuses. Wrong is wrong. Period. You're manipulating if you're manipulating and abusing, or if you know of streamers, if you know of communities that allow that, that support that, you are being part of the problem, because each person should have the right to a fair and fair gaming environment. It should not even be necessary to say, but unfortunately, things have come to this circus point. So this is, not just a statement of resistance and strength, but it is a full declaration of war against all those who try to suppress the good work, the effort I've been trying to put here, and I'm not going to give up. I really am not putting this down. So I stand here and I'll continue to fight for what should be gaming environments with integrity. In this case, I'm working for, I mean, within this game. Um, and I don't care about the game outcomes. I will not put any effort because I'm not going to put effort in a platform that values mediocrity, that shoots down the efforts of players who want to keep rising, to do their best and learn. That's it. And I really think that it will be a victory if people finally start exiting all these circles, these toxic circles, where you have either no opinion whatsoever about the smurfing issue, or you refuse to keep talking about that. Because probably that pain is not yours, right? And we have here an agency problem where there is a wrong, and you have only two options: either acknowledge it or refuse to acknowledge it and be yourself part of the problem. So choose. That's it. End of the video.